Hey everybody, Matt Weber here with Alpha Funding. I am here with a very special individual. This is David Hansel. He's one of our partners, one of our founding partners of Alpha Funding. And today we're going to go over a topic that a lot of you have been discussing and bringing up lately. And that's how do I grow and build my brand? How am I going to market this new opportunity within AlphaGator? So I really want to quickly introduce David. David started Alpha back in 2007. He is incredible. Everything that I have learned, for the most part, has been because of this guy right here. David started Alpha since day one with Mark, one of our other partners, and he was one of the main reasons why we were able to grow our company to the level that it is. So David, I'm very happy to have you on here today and ready to get started.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm really happy to be able to share this info. I know a lot of folks have been asking, we gave tools, and now you're like, how do I use the tools? So that's what I'm here to do today. So when you're done, you should have confidence to go out and start working the leads that you may have in your network. And you can come back and revisit this presentation for little tidbits. And I tried to write a lot of the little nuggets down. I will talk about some as well, but I'm certain that this will be a valuable resource for you guys. So let me get started, right, Matt?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right, well, let's get going. I'm gonna share my screen here. And can we all see that? Matt, you can see that?
Yep. Get deals done, marketing guide to bringing in loans and putting money in your pocket.
So, like I said, by the end of this little educational series, I want you guys to feel confident to be in a meeting or be out with someone and talk to them about why and how they can get funding through this partnership that we've created. So let's dive right in and get started here. So I kind of laid this out very simply for you. The one thing I've always told all the salespeople, and I remind myself every single time when I'm out there trying to bring in business or generate business, is you want to get the application. That's your one goal. If anything else, the only thing you need at the end of the conversation is to get an application in. And I'm going to talk about how to do that and what the benefits of that is. So we're going to go through each of these. You're going to tell a story. You're going to ask for the business. You're going to tell them what to expect, right? Because people get comfortable when they know what they should expect. I'll go over quickly a high level on the loan programs. We'll probably do another webinar on that. But how to answer some of the difficult questions you might get, and then some of the top responses. So again, the number one goal when you're talking to someone is to get an application. So your story and get an application. Each person's story will be unique and different, but I wrote down some bullet points here that I think can be helpful for you, right? You may want to talk about how you got started in the business and how you're continuing to grow, and you're bringing some valuable resources to the community that you work with. One of them is the ability to get financing for fix and flip, ground up construction, or term loans. You may want to say, hey, you may be aware that I joined Pace Morby's Gator community, and not only am I out there actively investing, but I'm helping to grow other verticals of my business that bring value to other people, right? So you're going to want to talk about us collectively, the AlphaGator funding program. I think something that's really powerful that I've used is this next statement, right? You know, through Pace's group, we've created this strategic alliance to help other investors throughout the country be able to execute more profitable deals, right? To give them capital to execute more profitable deals. There's definitely a lot of lenders out there, a lot that have gotten started in the last couple of years, But what I really like about the AlphaGator program and the vetting that Pace went through is that this group, Alpha, had started back in 2007. And being around for a long time doesn't make you good at what you do. I'd like to say, though, that we are good at what we do. We've done over $1 billion in loans. And when I tell people that, it's not to brag about that we've done over $1 billion in fix and flip loans and term loans and new construction, but it's really a testament to how we take care of our borrowers, right? So you want to convey to them, hey, I'm part of this group. We've now aligned with this company that has a very big repeat borrower base. And there are a lot of options out there, and people choose to go back to them because not only do they have great products and service, but they're available, they're transparent. You know, they're going to talk to you about what you need. If you're newer, they can help coach you. So I think it's important to have 1 or 2 bullet sentences to create a transition. So
Dave, I was just going to jump in. I think what you said was extremely powerful. Leaning on our brand, Alpha, right? There's 2 major brands. You have the Gator brand and then also Alpha. And we've made this strategic partnership with Pace and the community, and leaning on that so you don't feel like you're the one who, like, you shouldn't feel like you should sell this product. You're edifying, and you're using our track record as a way to show our track record experience. And then the fact that you said here, we've been around since 2007, which we have. We've done over $1 billion in loans to investors like you and myself, and 70% of the business has been repeat business. That is powerful. And the last thing I love is that the fact that you wrote, you owe it to yourself to talk with them. A lot of this, and I had this come up with a gentleman who called me from the Gator community last week, and he was saying, Matt, what do I say? Like, this guy, I know him. He's working with another lender. He's done a ton of deals. I just don't know how to say it. Like he's been working with this lender. How do I get him to come over to us? And I said to him, this is exactly the line that really struck a chord with me. You owe it to yourself to talk with him. All I said to him was, like, give him a shot. It's just one deal. Give them a shot. You're going to see how awesome they are. They got a great team. You could see that Pace has strategically aligned with them. Our community is aligned with them. So, keep it simple. And I love that message.
It's very simple. And everyone has to find their own voice. I'm giving you words to describe the way you can maneuver someone from hello to an application, because what we're trying to do is get an application. Less is more. And so you could say you owe it to yourself. One of the other things is it's always helpful to have another solid lender in your back pocket. We have a really diverse set of loan programs, and we've been at this for so long that there are times that we're able to do things that other lenders aren't. But if they're talking to you and there's some objections later, you want to talk to them about getting on the phone with them and having a discussion. I'm going to help you navigate further along as we go through this. So you have to ask for the business. You tell them the story. You talk to them about how excited you are, how you're part of this very big group, how we put this great program together, and that they're going to be a good capital partner for you. And I always use that phrase, capital partner, because as they grow their business, they want a good contractor. They need a good lender that they know is there for them and will respond and get the deals done. So ask for the business. At that point, say, hey, look, you have a deal. Let's get that application in. I'm going to send you a link when we're done with this call, which is what I do all the time. I keep going back to this statement. Let's get the app in. You know why? Because once you get the app in, then the underwriters are going to get in touch with you. And I'm going to go through that in a second. So, and even if they don't have a deal at the time, I'm going to touch on this again later. You could say, look, when you're buying an investment property, there's a lot of things to juggle. And the more things that you can have organized in advance, the better off you're going to be. So when somebody is getting started, or maybe they don't have a live deal right now and they're active, you could say, look, why don't you get pre-approved? it's very simple. And I use that language all the time. I say, I like to keep things simple. I say it's very simple. You're going to fill out the app, and I talk about it again later. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out the application. You're going to get to meet the team. These are the people that are going to help you when you do have a deal. And because you're getting pre-approved, and once you fill out the app and talk with the underwriter, you're going to be able to go out shopping with confidence because you know that we'll be there for you if the deal makes sense. So you don't need to fill out an app the next time that you have a deal if you got pre-approved. So let's say somebody's like, I don't have any deals right now, but I usually do 3 deals a year. You say, look, I know you probably have a lender now. I really, really think it'd be a great idea to get you pre-approved with this group. And then the biggest hook that you can give is that once you're pre-approved or you send in a deal, AlphaGator built this 24-hour proof of funds engine. So if you're out to dinner on a Saturday night and a deal comes across your way and you want to make an offer, we have a portal in our portal, right on our homepage. You can go to the proof of funds and fill out the information and you get that. So once you're pre-approved, you go in our database. So these are some good reasons to get set up. You meet the team, you actually speak with our underwriters, you'll talk to the person that's going to help get your deal done. You can shop with confidence. If you have another lender, it gives you another option. Maybe that lender has something going on or can't do a deal. And then if you get pre-approved, you don't have to fill out the app again. It's very quick and you get the proof of funds engine. So moving right along, everyone wants to know what they can expect. My team probably gets annoyed with me at times, but I always like to tell everyone what they should expect and when. Why? Because that gives you comfort. It allows you not to worry what's the next step. Like we gave you these tools, but you didn't know how to go out maybe and convert. And today I'm giving you that, right? So you need to be able to tell them what they should expect. So you're going to fill out an application. I'm going to send you the link. It takes about 10 to 20 minutes to fill out. You only need to do that once. And on repeat deals, you just fill out the deal info. And there's a link for that. So all you're going to do is fill out the application. Within 24 to 48 business hours, one of our underwriters will call you. This is if you have a live deal, different than a pre-approval. So you're telling them, hey, within 24 to 48 hours, one of my underwriters, make it about you. One of our underwriters, make it about your team, will reach out to you. And what do you expect on that call? I like to tell people what they can expect. They're going to go over your app, your experience, the deal. They're going to review kind of rough terms and start looking at the numbers and understand how the deal would work. And then if everything is good, from there, we're going to order an appraisal, do some small doc collection, and set up for closing. And so it's really important that once they make that connection, those folks now have a relationship with us. They have the proof of funds. And any person that you get into our portal belongs to you. So even if they're not going to do a deal now, you want to get them pre-approved. If they have a deal, just focus on getting the application and we'll work our magic from there and be a good partner to you. So the other thing that I like to tell people and is that I promise that we'll take good care of you. Sometimes I say, you know, and you may not have the ability to do this, but I'll say, I'm going to let the rest of my team know that your application will be coming in. Well, that makes them feel comfortable because you're explaining that you're going to let the team know as if they're special, and everyone is special, right? We value every person that comes in, but that's a really important part. So you want to do that. I'm going to now switch to
really quickly, Dave, if you could just go back to that last slide. One thing I saw that I have used since day one working with you is the line, and I truly mean it. It's important that you genuinely, viscerally mean what you're saying, but I promise they will take good care of you. I always say, I promise we're going to take really good care of you. The expectation setting, I've had many different services completed at my home, wherever I go, if it's my car. When somebody tells you these are what the next steps are, because ultimately in your mind, when something happens, you want to then figure out, well, what are the next steps? And as soon as they start going over that with you, there's just so much power to setting expectations and letting them know what those next couple steps are and kind of walking them down that road. So just like what you said, tell them what to expect. It makes all the difference.
And the last 3 words on this page, take note of: provide you options, right? So our underwriters have been working with us for a very long time. And sometimes someone will share some deal info, and it takes a little Q&A from the underwriter to understand what their goal is or how they're achieving it, what they do have, what they don't have. And so people like to have options. It puts control in their hands. So the underwriter may understand that you're looking for the absolute highest leverage possible, or you have an issue because you're midway through a project and you still have to pay off a loan. And through those questions, they're going to uncover, how the best way to achieve their goal is, and they'll lay out the options for them to look at. So we're going to do another presentation, I'm sure, at some point in detail about these programs. The only thing I wanted to tell you is less is more. Less is more. And even today, I use that. People are naturally going to ask you a million questions. You may not know the answer to half the questions. That is okay. And it's okay to say, I don't know. What you can say and hide behind, this is what I always tell our new sales folks that come on and train with us. Sometimes you're better off not having the knowledge and not trying to pretend like you have it. You need some very minor bullet points. So the biggest question that people are going to are asking you, and I'm going to go into more detail on the next slide about it, is what's your pricing? What's your leverage? What's this? What's that? Right? What I always do is I bookend a range that people can expect. And what I say to folks is, look, I'm going to give you a very tight range of where leverage and pricing will be. What I will tell you is that the team will try to get you the best combination of pricing and leverage. But here is the bookends. If you're doing a fix and flip, and I'm not getting into granular detail because if you're a first-time borrower, there's a little less on the leverage. But on fix and flip, we're generally going to give 85% of the purchase price and 100% of the construction costs. The bookend is, I'll tell people 80 to 90% of purchase. That means you bring 10 to 20% down, and then we give you all of the construction money. And that our loan can't be more than 70% of ARLTV, which means the after repair loan to value. So if you bought a place for 500 and you put 300,000 into it and it was worth $1 million at the end, and we gave you every single dollar, that means we are giving you 70% of the ARLTV. That's 700,000 on $1 million. So in general, though, you tell people, look, we're going to give 80 to 90% of purchase, 100% of construction. New construction, we do 80 to 85% of total project cost. I want to clarify that for everyone. That means if you add together the purchase and the rehab, in my other example, was 500 and 300, let's say new construction, you're all in for 700, you would have to bring 15 to 20% of the 700. That's for new construction. For the DSCR loans, we're looking at, that's for long-term loans. So a lot of our borrowers flip a property and then put it in their rental portfolio. Or some people just go out and buy a property as rental. We can give 70 to 80% of the ARV or the current market value. And the pricing on this program fluctuates daily, opposed to some of the stuff on the fix and flip and new construction. So depending on where rates are moving, that can change, but they're generally in the 7 to 9% range on a high end. The last program, the transactional funding, which we're just rolling out now, that's for wholesalers that don't want to do an assignment fee for various reasons. We can come in and give you 100% of the money, and that would be at 2 points on the total loan amount. So if they ask more questions about the loan and this and that, say, look, I'm part of the origination and I want to be transparent. I don't know the granular details, but what I can tell you is that the team that they have is amazing. And I encourage you, once you get the app in and you speak to the team, they'll not only answer all your questions, they'll probably uncover questions and information you hadn't thought of. So it's very important when they try to pin you down for more and more info to say, you know, I want to be transparent that I don't necessarily know all these are like the rough parameters, but what I do know is that Pace and the rest of the group would not be working with them. They would not be in business since 2007 and doing what they're doing if they weren't a reputable company, if they weren't able to help and put together financing for you.
That was Dave, really quickly. I want to just put a bow on what you just said. A lot of people, I have had multiple people now still to this day, even just this past week, asking me similar things. And I don't know every detail, and it's okay not to know. The whole thing that you were talking about, less is more. If you have these few bullet points in your quiver, in your tool belt, whatever analogy you want to use, this will help. But if you notice, they're going to continue. It's human nature. When somebody has somebody on the other line, they're going to try and get as much information as possible out. It's like if you're calling your cable company and you had questions, you're just going to keep asking questions. Eventually, they may not know the answer. What you don't want to do is you don't want to answer the question wrong or pretend like you know the answer when you don't, because then that sets up for a issue, over as time goes by. So always revert back to the things that David has been saying. Let's get the application in, lean on the team, edify the team, and then get back to let's just get the application in, because what happens is they're going to continue to ask until, and sometimes you'll even notice they'll ask the same question 2 or 3 different times in a different way. And you still just have to just be strong and don't let yourself get caught, because we're humans. We want to please other people.
Yeah.
You want to answer it. It's normal, but don't.
And something else too is that when you say, like, I know that once you get your application in, like, I'm not trying to avoid your questions, but you're going to be on the phone with the decision makers that also can help maybe structure the deal in a more attractive way, right? So you're telling them, hey, you're going to get to talk to the decision maker. These are the people that are approving the loans, and they will help you navigate and give you options. And I'll say something else, and you may want to share this. We've spent over the years just as much time talking to people about their deals and helping them get funded as we have talking to people out of bad loans, because sometimes, especially newer investors, they're missing a piece of the puzzle. But or they don't see something that we do from having looked at thousands of loans. So you want them to know that they're going to get to talk with the decision makers and the ones that will help finalize their absolute pricing. So here are some difficult questions you might get asked. And I think that all of the questions can always revert back to get an app in, and I'll make sure that the team addresses these questions, right? They may not be willing to at first, but if you explain to them that they're talking to the decision maker, those things will push them along. They'll say, I have another lender. Well, a lot of people have other lenders, right? So you say, I understand you have another lender. Wouldn't it be helpful to see if there's someone else out there that maybe has other programs or maybe can do things better for you? It really, all it's going to take is about 10 to 20 minutes of your time. And what if you have a deal that your lender can't do, or their pricing moves up and you want to have somebody else in your pocket? Again, by you getting the application, you own this person, you own the revenue that will ever come out of them. So all you really want is to put them into our hands. So you want to encourage them that it's okay to have another lender. And sometimes you may want to rotate through different lenders, or maybe the lender, you have too many loans out with one lender and they don't want to give you more dollars. So what is your pricing? That's the biggest question everybody asks, right? And this is how I always answer it. I'll start with the second bullet. Fix and flip, new construction, we're typically going to fall between 10 to 12% and 2 to 3 points. It's just a range. Until we see the actual deal and the particulars, it's impossible to zero in on a number. Other lenders may give you pricing right out of the gates, but here's the truth. When we get a file in and we look at the file, someone may say, oh, I got great credit, I've done 17 deals, I've done this and that, and you tell them you're going to get 10% and you're going to get this. You never want to give out the exact stuff, because the decision makers, the underwriters, are going to put it through and understand what can be done, and then they will give them the pricing. But we always say that we always try to be as aggressive as we can. We will try to give the best pricing and leverage. And the reason why is that for us, we've been around since 2007 and we plan to be here for a long time. We're not looking to make a fortune on every given deal. We want to build relationships, and part of being with Pace's group is about building relationships and that abundance mentality. So we're going to try and make sure we make you look good, but we will always give the options to each investor. So you want to encourage them to come in and just give them that range of pricing. What's your leverage, right? Everyone wants to know, I want 100% financing, I want this. Sure, there's some versions of 100% financing out there, whether it's marrying gap funding, having a lender, getting private and doing so and so forth. I like to, again, give a range. We typically will give you 80 to 90% of your purchase price and 100% of your construction costs. There's a caveat, which is that other page about the ARLTV. Our loan can't be more than 70% ARLTV. So if the leverage was at 9,100, but our loan was at 72%, they may have to bring a little more. But to keep it simple, which is my motto, 80 to 90% of purchase, 100% of construction. When you get to the underwriters after your app's in, they're going to be able to drill down on that for you, and you'll be able to choose what to do. Another big question is, how fast can you close? So generally we tell people now 2 weeks and under after COVID. Some of the The biggest things that hold up a closing are appraisals and title. So we've had deals where people have the appraisal ready and they assign it over and we can close in a few days. But to be safe, you should explain to them you're probably looking around 2 weeks or under if there's issues with title or some of the minor doc collect that can delay it. But we're set up to close quick. We've been doing this as long as we've been in business. And so you can kind of speak to that. So
yeah, just Dave, if I know you're saying if you don't answer, just be honest. So I just really want to quickly touch on I have another lender, because it comes up so much. And I find so many people, as soon as they say I have another lender, they step back and they're like, okay, you have another lender. It's okay to have another lender. But I also wanted to give you a little bit of context. We get phone calls every single day. Even if somebody has done 20, 30 deals, they've done it multiple times with a lender, there's always going to be issues. Things come up. I know personally that there's a lender that is a pretty big lender, and they sometimes go through some turnover. Now, if you've grown and built a relationship, and all of a sudden you've grown to expect a certain level of service, and maybe that service has started to drop off, you may be looking for better service. There's going to be lenders that sometimes will change terms on you at the very last second. We don't do that. We don't believe in that. There's always things that could happen, even if they have another lender. I always ask, give us a shot. And do all the things that David has been saying, all the things that I've been saying so far. Give us a try. You're going to find out why 70% of our borrowers continue to use us. That's powerful. And I would always continue to go back to what you're saying. Get the application, circle back to those key things as you're going through this process, and try not to get into the weeds. And also, really quickly, all of these things that we've been going through, remember, they're going to be in all of your FAQs, on all the landing pages, and also in your playbook. So if you want to refer to them, a lot of these questions will be in your playbook. Always refer to your playbook whenever you have some of these, granular type questions that people may be asking you.
Thanks, Matt. So I'm going to touch on the last item, but I'll look over to the left to the red again and point out, get the application. Get the application, right? You have to have a one-track mind. And like I said, you're not forcing them to anything. You're giving them an opportunity to look at something else. If you do not know the answer to something, I can't stress this enough. A lot of us get nervous and try to answer a question or make up a story. Don't do it. People will appreciate being honest. You can tell them, to be candid with you, I don't know exactly where the pricing's going to fall. I gave you kind of a range when the particulars come through, or can I do this in an entity, or can I do this in my personal name? If you don't know the answer, you can certainly write to the underwriters on the chat channel that you have if you have a specific question. But my is try to answer as few of the questions as possible, not to avoid it, but not to go down a rabbit hole and provide misinformation, right? So be honest. You can check in with the underwriters. We have that chat that exists for you for that purpose. But just encourage them again. Look, I can find out for you, but as we're moving this along, let's get the app in, and the underwriters and decision makers will help you through that.
And just one more time, I just want to reinforce, always go back to the FAQs. We've spent a lot of time answering a lot of these questions, and also refer to your playbook.
Okay. So we're going to wrap up in a minute here. And if they don't have a deal, which we talked about before, try to get as many people pre-approved. Remember, you own that person. That means if they close a deal in 6 months or 9 months and they forgot to call you, guess who gets paid? You do. So let's get the applications in. Let's try and get them comfortable and talk to them about, all the value that as a group we all bring together. I strongly encourage you guys to read through this presentation, to listen to it. I definitely shared some nuggets that weren't written down. But if you have other specific questions that you're going to want to have answered, or other ideas of marketing or to approach, maybe we'll collect a few of those and we'll do another marketing presentation a few weeks from now. So if you have specific questions or you're feeling uneasy about how to approach them, you know, shoot us some questions and we'll try to build that into a future write-up. But like I said, the goal is get the apps in, you can get deals, and we'll make you look good. And if the deal doesn't work for them, we'll let them know, or if it does, or they'll let us know, or we'll tell them, hey, there's a challenge with this deal. So I want to thank you all for being part of this community, for the energy that everybody brings, and we're super happy to be able to work with you and help you grow, and we can all be successful together.
And one last thing, what should we always be trying to do, David?
Well, I'm not sure. Could it be get applications?
Yes.
All right.
When in doubt, let's get the application.
And you guys have those links. So all you have to do is what I send over to folks is I say, it was really great talking to you. Here's a link to the app. Please fill it out. You can create your own templated email. It'll take 10 to 20 minutes, right? You're letting them know what to expect. So when you give them the app, people don't want to start an app and it's like an hour long, or they don't know what to expect. Tell them you need about 10 or 20 minutes. And then within 24 to 48 hours, one of the underwriters will call you. So send those links out as much as you can. Come up with a great templated email and send it off to them. And I promise you, you'll start seeing the register ring. And we've had some great success stories, and we're hoping that all of you will be part of our future success stories.
Thank you very much, Dave, for sharing all this key information. If you guys have any questions moving forward, like Dave said, you can always ask deal-related, loan-related questions in the live chat. You can email us at gator@alphafunding.com. We're going to continue to have our Q&A. So just remember, on the monthly, you'll have your Q&A. Refer to the FAQs on AlphaGatorFunding.com and all the landing pages, and also your playbook. We are going to try and give this to you as simple as possible, but use your tools in your tool belt. Yes, Dave?
One other thing, which I don't know how many people get this far in the presentation and when this is going to be shown. Probably not before this weekend, but if you see this before the weekend, I'm going to be down at the Family Mastermind. I think Pace is going to be down there. If you're there, please come up and say hello. Would love to meet you.
And we'll also be at Bigger Pockets in Orlando. So if this is posted before October, hopefully we'll get to see you in October at Bigger Pockets.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.